Introducing Lucha Underground. Lucha, Lucha. Lucha, Lucha. Lucha, Lucha. Lucha, Lucha.
I love Lucha Underground. Man, I love this show. What a season finale. What an amazing season. Once again, Lucha Underground proves to be the premier show for all of wrestling. The show for wrestling fans. The same wrestling fans who are tired of the corporate shows doing things that the fans don't watch wrestling for. If you miss blood, if you miss characters, if you miss storylines, if you miss feuds, if you miss big blow-offs, if you miss good wrestling, this is the show for you. And that show concluded its second season with an amazing 2-hour event. Ultima Lucha 2, Part 3, Night 3. And I thought it was great. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was well worth the watch. I cannot give it enough praise. No matter how many people want to come up here and kill the hype of Lucha Underground, say that fans like me are overhyping it or overrating it, and you know what? It might not be for you. It might not be your kind of wrestling show because everyone has their own views. Everyone has their own taste on wrestling. For me, Lucha Underground pushes all the right buttons. This show manages somehow, some way to push all the right buttons. And I can't say enough for its presentation, for its wrestling matches, the backstage segments, the cinematic promos, the cinematic segments, period. The characters, Dario, Cueto, Catrina, the same woman who was Matt seen in WWE, man, did they miss out. Catrina is killing it. She is killing it right now. And then you had who I felt was the star of the show. Pentagon Jr. is dead. He died when he entered the cave of horrors and came out as the new, reborn Pentagon Dark. The show was all about him, and Jesus Christ, was it awesome. Every single segment, every single time you saw him, you just told yourself, this guy is amazing. This guy is the man. Cierro miedo. But you know what? I have gushed over it enough. You guys want to hear my thoughts on the matches and give you an overall review on the show. Well, I'll just tell you right now. All 3 nights were great. Go watch it. Go watch it right now. I implore you to watch it before you watch this review. If you have not seen it, don't watch this review. Go watch the shows, then come back to get my thoughts on it. If you're tired of the main shows not giving you your fix, get your fix here. Lucha Underground. Go watch the show if you have not seen it. If you have seen it, give me your thoughts down below because I loved all of it. I loved everything from the very first match on this show, which was, honestly, I gotta say, that Trio Championship, I love what they did with the referee in the match. The referees have been looking like chumps, and they always have been looking like chumps because nobody pays attention to the rules, unfortunately. So it was nice seeing the referee in the Trio Championship actually stand out and actually reinforce the rules and remind fans that, look, this is still an official match, which I love. Phoenix, Aerostar, and Drago, named Fire, Space, and Fury. I love that. Taking on the Worldwide Underground, Mundo Black and Evans. Mundo Black and Evans are the dirtiest mofos you will ever see. They did every single dirty trick they can think of. They did everything. Titles, low blows, eye rakes, knocking out the referee, interfering when they shouldn't be interfering, pulling the referee out of the ring. They did everything. And it really looked like they were going to retain those championships. until a certain Angelico, that's right, Angelico returned in this match. I predicted he would return in Taya's match. Taya versus Ivelisse's match. No, he returned in this match. He beat him up with one of the crutches that he had, and then allowed Phoenix to get the, his finisher on freaking Johnny Mundo and beats him. So now Phoenix, Aerostar, and Delago are your new trio champions, and Phoenix is now the very first Triple Crown champion in Lucha Underground history. Great accolade for a great wrestler. I think Aerostar is one of the best wrestlers on that roster. Phoenix, of course, is definitely one of the best as well. You know what? All three of them. Let's just say all three of them are one of the best wrestlers on the roster. So I think this team is going to be awesome going into next season. You would have to think we get more answers with Angelico and Johnny Mundo. I'm going to assume that Johnny Mundo was the one who took out Angelico, and Angelico will get his revenge next year. It makes sense because let's think about it this way. Johnny Mundo took out Phoenix. Maybe the plan was to take out Angelico and then find a way for Mundo to get those trios champions. I don't know. Maybe it was long term. They could make it feel long term. We'll see how that works out. But I look forward to seeing where that feud goes next year. Dragon Azteca Jr. taking on Black Lotus. I will say this. The match itself has some nice back and forth. I love Black Lotus. I was telling myself as the match was going on, I would like her as a bodyguard myself because this woman is all kinds of badass. She kicked ass in this match, and she held her own against El Dragon Azteca. Unfortunately, before the match could really kick it into high gear, it is stopped by Pentagon Dark, who runs out and breaks both their arms. I mean, he just completely shatters both their arms. And cuts a promo saying Pentagon Jr. was weak, and he was broken by the monster. But in his place, Pentagon Dark rises. He says he will destroy the Monster Matanza, and he will do it because he's Pentagon Dark. Cierro Miedo calls out his master, thanks his master for helping him get to that point. And man, I didn't talk about the Cave of Horrors, Cave of Fear. I don't know what you call that. I know I kind of skipped over it. I mentioned it. But let me go back and talk about it really quickly. I loved everything about it. I loved him going into the cave, him fighting different versions of himself. That looked great. I like the scene of Pentagon Jr. being held down by multiple Pentagon Juniors and him having to fight out and beat them up, becoming Pentagon Dark. It looked awesome. Now, to my surprise, getting back to the segment, we got the championship match next. I swear to God, I thought it was going to end the show, but no, they had it the very next segment. So, Pentagon Jr. took on the Monster Matanza for the Lucha Underground Championship, and I would say 70% of the match, Pentagon Dark. Did I say Pentagon Jr.? Sorry, he's dead. Pentagon Dark beat the hell out of Matanza. Beat him down, tore him apart, threw him to and fro. It really came down to the last 10 seconds. Because Pentagon Jr. and I will say Matanza got some offense. Some. But it was like 30% offense. So it came down to the ending. VAMPIRO pulls out a barbed wire baseball bat. Pentagon Jr. gets it, goes over to Matanza, gets ready to beat him up, and then Dario Cueto gets involved, and he costs Pentagon Dark the match. Wrath of the Gods, and pins him. 1, 2, 3. And I will say this. I was disappointed. I kind of wanted Pentagon Jr. to win. Again, I said Pentagon Jr., Pentagon Dark. Gotta get used to it. I apologize. But I wanted Pentagon to win. I did. I wanted him to get that championship. And it was disappointing in a sense that he didn't. The entire season, they built up Pentagon as the stone cold figure of this brand. Maybe it'll happen next season. But to me, that sucks. I do feel like he should have won that championship. At the exact same time, credit is due to Lucha Underground for keeping their champions strong. Seriously, I have to give props to Lucha Underground. They did this with Prince Puma last year, and he held that thing all the way through. all the way through the season and didn't drop it until the end of the season. Same thing goes for Matanza. He's gonna close the season as the champion. The champions are not chumps. They are legit. And Matanza is a legit champion. And whoever beats him, whoever defeats the monster, will come out smelling like roses, man. If Pentagon is not going to be the guy to beat him, I have to wonder who is. I mean, Sexy Star currently has the Gift of the Gods Championship, but I seriously don't see her beating Matanza. I'm just going to say that right now. But after the match, Vampiro, who feels sorry for his student, goes into the ring, tries to hug Pentagon Jr. to comfort him, and Pentagon just says, "Get the hell off of me. I don't want your sympathy. I am a man. I am Cielo Miedo," and he just runs away. He just walks away. Understandably upset at his loss. Vampiro, of course, took this pretty hard. He was disappointed in himself that he couldn't help his student win the championship. And I love that he told that story. He didn't say it, but he told it through his emotions on commentary. Like, "Oh man, I can't do this. I can't do this, man. I can't go on. Okay, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm back. Let's go back, Matt. Let's go back, Matt." And I like that. I appreciate that. Taya versus Ivelisse. Good match. Really good match. A really good testament to female wrestling in 2016. I will say this, though. As good as the match was, that freaking finish was amazing. Best part to me, one of the best parts of the show was Catrina. Catrina teleported her ass into that ring, hit this awesome butterfly lock bomb. It's like a sit-out butterfly lock bomb on Ivelisse and allows Taya to hit her Northern Light Suplex double stomp finisher. I forgot what it was called. But she pins her. 1, 2, 3. She is now the baddest bitch in Lucha Underground. And then afterwards, Catrina says, "Death comes to everyone. Even you, bitch." Picks her head up, licks her face, rubs her face down her tits, and then just completely disappears. She teleports out of there. I was done. I'm like, Catrina is freaking badass. This hot ass woman on my TV set. That match has been built up, for the longest time since season 1, and I cannot believe it's been built up this long, and we won't even get the actual match until season 3. I can't wait for that match. That is going to be an awesome match. But let's talk about the dream match. The dream match featuring Prince, Puma, and Rey Mysterio Jr. Amazing match. The quintessential Lucha Libre wrestling match. Both men went out there and gave it their all. I have to say, it made me proud to be a wrestling fan. It did. It put a smile on my face, man. That was one of those matches that made me go, this is why I'm a wrestling fan. And I'm so happy I got to see it. So props to Ricochet, Prince Puma, and Rey Mysterio for giving us one hell of a show. Fantastic match. Rey Mysterio wins. It didn't matter because guess what? They both were winners. We were all winners because of this match. Rey Mysterio gave him the spotlight. He let Prince Puma get the standing ovation. Although Rey won the match, he felt like, no, this is not my spotlight. This is your spotlight. And he let him have it. Glorious finish. Or was it? Just as they were going off the air, Pentagon Dark returns and attacks the commentators. He attacks Max Striker, and then he goes after his master, Vampiro, with the barbed wire bat and beats him to a bloody pulp. And I really mean bloody. He bled like a stuck pig down his face. And then Pentagon Jr., like the sick bastard that he is, wipes the blood on his hands and licks it. He even bathes himself in the blood, and then takes the barbed wire bat and then presses it up against his head, beats him down with it. It was sick, man. It was a sick beating. And then he gets to the microphone and says, "I am the new master. I have surpassed you, Vampiro." It's his fault. It's his fault for why he lost that match. That's one thing about going to the dark side. When you go to that dark side, there is no coming back. You unleash that monster, you can't. You cannot put it back in the cage. And Pentagon Dark is a monster unleashed. Cierro miedo. I feel sorry for whoever is in his path next season. Speaking of next season, that closer, Dario Cueto, being carried away in a cop's car. He was arrested. He was arrested, cuffed, and put in a cop's car, and they drive off. And as they're driving off, we see Dario Cueto raise his head and smile. To be continued. What a cliffhanger. What a freaking cliffhanger. Now let me say this. Those of you worried about Lucha Underground going away on a long hiatus, do not worry. Because they will be back. They will be back this fall. Now, I don't know exactly which month it is. I'm going to assume it's November. You don't have to wait that long. It will be back. It will be back this year. So you'll just have to go without it. August, September, and October. 3 months. 3 months. If you haven't seen Season 1, watch Season 1 and watch Season 2. Catch up. As I'm hearing Season 3, based off of some people who have gone to tapings, and not spoil anything, because again, I haven't gotten any information on what happened in terms of the show. But people have told me Season 3 is the best one yet. It's better than Season 1 and Season 2. I can't wait. Great show. Great event. Ultima Lucha 2 was exciting in all kinds of ways. Thank you, Lucha Underground, for yet another season. But give me your thoughts down below. How do you feel about Ultima Lucha 2 and everything I just talked about? But this is your boy, X-Man, signing off with his last review of Lucha Underground Season 2. Let's see what happens in Season 3. In respect to Pentagon Dark, I'm signing out. ¡Cielo! ¡Miedo!